All right, let's talk about this thing we all pretend is real, money, the great green illusion, the paper god, the holy coupon of human life. Everybody wakes up every morning and worships it, prays to it, chases it, dreams about it, argues over it, even breaks up marriages over it, and not one person can actually explain what the hell it really is. Money isn't even a thing. It's paper decorated with dead guys and funny numbers, or digits flickering on a screen, and yet the entire world acts like it's oxygen. You can live without love, without kindness, without a clue, but you better not run out of money. Try paying your rent with a nice personality. The landlord will smile, pat you on the head, and still kick you out. We've built an entire civilization around a piece of paper that has no taste, no smell, no nutritional value, and no actual power, except the power we all agreed to give it. It's like a big group hypnosis. Somebody, centuries ago, held up a shiny coin and said, "This is valuable." And instead of laughing and going back to hunting dinner, everyone said, "Oh yes, Master Shiny Coin, tell us how to live." From that day forward, people have been trading their time, their sweat, and their sanity for something they can't eat, can't drink, and can't cuddle at night. The first caveman who accepted a rock for a fish probably thought, "This is progress." And now we're sitting here with credit cards, mortgages, and bank apps wondering why we're broke. Think about it. A piece of paper with a picture of an old politician on it controls your life. You wake up when the alarm screams because you need it. You sit in traffic with people who hate you because they need it. You go to jobs you can't stand, nodding at bosses you don't respect because you need it. All for a rectangle of decorated paper that, if you drop it in a puddle, turns into soggy garbage. If that's not the biggest joke in history, I don't know what is. And don't get me started on banks. Banks are like a magic show without the rabbits. You give them your money, they put it in a computer, and then they lend it to someone else while charging you fees for the privilege of letting them borrow what's already yours. If you try to get it all back at once, they look at you like you just asked them to hand over the moon. "Sorry, sir, we don't actually have it. Of course you don't have it. It was never really there. It's just numbers floating around in a digital cloud, and we act like it's sacred. Credit cards, that's another layer of comedy." Someone hands you a tiny plastic rectangle and says, "Here, pretend you have money." And we love it. We swipe, we tap, we sign our names with a flourish, and for a moment we feel rich. Then the bill shows up and suddenly you're paying triple for a pair of shoes you didn't need in the first place. It's a system that says, "Go ahead, buy happiness," while quietly laughing and adding interest. And cash itself, people still treat it like it's holy. They iron their bills, fold them neatly, hide them under mattresses like it's gold from a pirate ship. But if you really think about it, $100 bill is just a fancy receipt. It's a promise that somebody somewhere agrees it's worth something, and the second people stop agreeing, it's just paper good for starting campfires or folding into origami hats. Imagine explaining that to an alien. Yes, we spend our entire lives working for colored paper, and when we get enough of it, we trade it for things we already own, like food and shelter. The alien would probably call their spaceship and leave immediately. And what about the endless obsession with making more of it? People chase raises, promotions, side hustles, all for more paper. You could offer someone a briefcase full of blank sheets, and if you stamped legal tender on it, they'd risk their life to grab it. Folks will trade friendships, families, even their health for a few extra zeros in a bank account they'll never fully enjoy. It's like running on a hamster wheel while bragging about how fast you're going. The funniest part is how we attach emotions to money. We say it's hard-earned, like the paper itself worked a 12-hour shift in a coal mine. We call it dirty, as if it crawled through a sewer on its way to the wallet. We say it talks, but only if you have enough of it. Meanwhile, it just sits there quietly in a drawer, not caring if you love it or hate it. Money doesn't know you exist. You could burn it, shred it, or wallpaper your bathroom with it, and it wouldn't blink because it's not alive. But we act like it has feelings. Then there's the social side. People judge each other by how much of this imaginary stuff they have. You could be the nicest person in the room, but if your shoes cost less than somebody else's, suddenly you're invisible. We use money as a measuring stick for success, intelligence, even morality. Oh, he's rich, he must be smart. Really, have you ever met a rich idiot? They're everywhere. Wealth doesn't mean wisdom. It just means someone figured out how to collect more paper than you. And don't think the government isn't in on the gag. They print this stuff whenever they feel like it. Need more money? Fire up the machines. They call it stimulus, quantitative easing, or some other fancy term to distract you from the fact that they're making monopoly money with real ink. If you tried that at home with a printer, they'd call it counterfeiting. When they do it, it's called economic policy. But we keep playing along because everyone else is. It's a giant improv show where the audience refuses to break character. The moment people stop believing, the whole act collapses. That's why they keep selling the dream, work hard and you'll be rich. Because if you ever figured out the game, you'd stop showing up, and they can't have that. They need you tired, busy, and a little bit scared, because scared people will do anything for paper. So here we are, millions of grown adults racing around like ants, trading our time, our thoughts, our lives for something that only exists because we agree it does. We fight over it, we marry for it, we even kill our own joy to get a little more of it, all for paper. If that isn't the biggest cosmic joke ever written, then the universe has an even darker sense of humor than I thought. And the kicker is this: when it's all over, when you finally clock out for good, none of it goes with you. Not a single bill, not a single coin, not a single number in your bank account. The whole game resets, and the next batch of suckers lines up to play. So maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop worshipping paper and start laughing at the joke. You ever notice how the money game always looks like it's giving you a fair shot, but the second you sit down to play, the dealer smiles and quietly collects all your chips? That's because the whole setup is rigged and you're the happy contestant. You walk in thinking you're about to win big, but you're really there to keep the lights on for the casino, and they've been running this show for centuries. The banks, the politicians, the experts with their little charts and expensive suits, they're not here to help you. They're here to keep you just busy enough to keep handing them money while they tell you how lucky you are to be in the game. Look at the rules. First you work, that's the starter trap. They tell you work is noble, work builds character, work will set you free. No, work sets them free. You give them your hours, your back, your energy, and in return they give you just enough to survive, and a lunch break you can't even enjoy because you're already thinking about going back. They call it a living wage, which is a fancy way of saying, congratulations, you get to keep breathing until next week. If you stop working, the game stops for you. If they stop working, the game keeps paying them. That's not a job, that's a subscription service for your own life. Then comes the miracle of taxes. Oh, taxes are a masterpiece of comedy. They take your money right out of your paycheck before you even see it. And then, once a year, they ask you to fill out 100 forms just to prove how much they already took. And if you fill it out wrong, even by accident, they fine you for miscounting your own money that they already have. That's like stealing someone's car, asking them to write a thank you note, and charging them for the stamp. And people line up every April with a smile, hoping for a refund. "Oh boy, I'm getting my own money back." Yeah, after they borrowed it for a year and earned interest while you were eating instant noodles. Credit cards, that's the dessert course. They hand you a little rectangle of plastic and say, "Go ahead, enjoy life today, pay us tomorrow." But tomorrow never comes. They'll let you buy everything: clothes, food, vacations, useless gadgets, and then when the bill arrives they casually add a little interest. Just a little, they say, 15% here, 20% there. Before you know it, that $40 dinner is a $90 memory. You're basically renting your own past from a company that sells you the illusion of freedom and bank. So the banks, these places are like magic shops for grown-ups. You walk in thinking your money is safe. They smile, take it, and immediately lend it to someone else while charging you a fee to check on it. They'll give you a lollipop on the way out like that somehow makes it fair. And if you ask for too much of your own money at once, they act suspicious. Why do you need it? Because it's mine, that's why. But in their world, your money isn't really yours. It's their plaything. You're just the kid who gets to hold the receipt. Even the so-called investments are a trap dressed as opportunity. Stocks, bonds, funds. Everyone pretends it's this sophisticated science. But most of it is a guessing game run by people who already know the outcome. They pump, they dump, they trade on whispers you'll never hear. Meanwhile, you sit at home refreshing your account, celebrating a $5 gain like you discovered fire. And when the market crashes, and it always crashes, you're the one left holding the empty bag while they quietly buy back everything at a discount. And let's not forget mortgages, the crown jewel of the hustle. They tell you owning a home is the ultimate dream, the sign you've made it. But what they don't tell you is you don't own that house. Not for decades. The bank owns it. You're basically paying rent to yourself for 30 years, and if you miss a payment, they take the house and keep the money you already gave them. Imagine renting a car for 3 decades and then being told you can't keep the steering wheel. That's not ownership. That's a long-term hostage negotiation. Fees are the quiet little pickpockets of the system. Service fees, convenience fees, maintenance fees. There's a fee for using your own card at the wrong machine, a fee for paying a bill late, a fee for paying a bill early if they feel like it. It's like getting charged for the privilege of being alive. One day you'll probably see a breathing fee on your bank statement. Congratulations, you inhaled air this month, $5. And the best part, they write it in tiny print, so small you need a microscope to even know they're robbing you. The beauty of the whole scam is how they make you feel grateful for it. They give you rewards programs, bonus points, loyalty perks. Spend more, save more. That's like telling someone to eat more cake to lose weight. They throw a little glitter on the cage and suddenly people are bragging about their miles, their cashback, their platinum status. You're still a customer paying for the privilege of being a customer, but now you've got a shiny card to prove it. And the politicians, they're the ringmasters of this circus. Every few years they show up, promise to fix the game, promise to make it fair, and then disappear behind the curtain with the bankers to count their cut. They give speeches about opportunity while quietly rewriting the rules to make sure the House still wins, and people keep voting, hoping the next group will finally clean it up. But the House always wins because the House writes the rules. It's like betting on a horse race where the horses are on treadmills and the finish line is in a locked office. Even education gets in on it. They sell you the idea of a degree, a magic ticket to a better life. You borrow thousands to get it, spend years paying it off, and when you finally land that job, the salary barely covers the interest on the debt you took to qualify. That's not education. That's a very expensive permission slip to sit in a cubicle. And people cheer when they finish paying it off, like they just climbed a mountain, when really they've just escaped a trap set by the same people handing out diplomas. The most impressive trick of all is how they keep you distracted. New gadgets, new trends, new must-have, things you didn't even know existed last week. They feed you just enough entertainment and hope to keep you from noticing the math never adds up. You work harder, they take more, and somehow you're supposed to feel lucky because they let you keep a little slice of your own pie. It's like a magician pulling a coin from behind your ear after stealing your wallet. And we keep lining up for it. We dress up for job interviews like we're auditioning for a role we'll never actually play. We study the stock market like it's a sacred text. We compare salaries like they measure human worth. We're not participants. We're customers at a carnival where the games are glued together. And the people running the booths are laughing, not because they're evil, but because we keep paying to play. You can try to cheat the system, get clever with loopholes, stash a little cash under the mattress, but the house is always a step ahead. They don't need to chase you. They built the walls. They own the dice. They even own the language. Words like opportunity, growth, and financial freedom are just decorations for a maze with no exit. So what do? You laugh. You recognize the game for what it is, a show. You stop believing the promises, stop worshipping the numbers, and maybe start living on your own terms, because once you see the trick, you can finally enjoy the performance without handing over every last chip. Here's the thing about money and the so-called good life. Everybody's running around chasing numbers while the clock is quietly stealing their minutes. You start out thinking it's just a little job to pay a few bills. Next thing you know, you're 30 years deep into a career you never liked, staring at a glowing screen that spits out more zeros and more stress. All because someone told you that happiness lives in a bigger paycheck, a fancier house, a newer car, a shinier toy. It's like we were all born with a stopwatch taped to our backs and a voice whispering, "Hurry up, grab more, don't look at the sunset, there's money to be made." You see it everywhere. People work late, skip meals, skip sleep, all to chase a promotion that buys them a slightly bigger rectangle to live in. They call it climbing the ladder, but nobody tells you the ladder doesn't end. It just keeps going into a foggy sky until you forget why you started climbing. And the higher you go, the more you have to carry. Bigger mortgage, bigger bills, bigger stress. It's like winning a pie, eating contest where the prize is more pie. And the stuff you collect along the way. Oh, the stuff. Closets full of clothes you don't wear. Gadgets you forgot you bought. Furniture you can't even sit on because it's covered in decorative pillows. People spend their lives trading time for trinkets, and then pay for storage units to hide the trinkets because there's too much of it. Imagine explaining that to someone from a simpler age. Yes, I work 50 hours a week so I can buy things I don't use and then rent a room to store the things I don't use. They'd look at you like you just tried to sell them a box of air. The cruelest trick is how society dangles the idea of making it. You know the dream, get the right job, buy the right house, stack enough cash, and suddenly you'll feel complete. But nobody actually crosses the finish line. People hit their goal, look around, and immediately set a bigger goal. It's a hamster wheel with a gold paint job. You keep running because you think happiness is just one more raise away, and by the time you realize it's a scam, your knees are shot and the wheel has worn a groove into your soul. And while you're busy chasing digits, real life is happening off to the side like a movie you forgot to watch. The kids are growing up, the seasons are changing, your friends are drifting away because everyone's too busy stacking imaginary points. People say they'll slow down later, after they hit a certain savings target, after they pay off the house, after they finally retire. Later, later, later. But later has a nasty habit of turning into never. Look at vacations. They're supposed to be a break from the grind, a chance to enjoy the time you've been buying with all those hours at work. But even vacations become a contest. People rush through airports, schedule every minute, snap 1,000 photos, and come home more exhausted than when they left. Then they brag about it at the office, like they just survived a military campaign. We did 5 cities in 7 days. Congratulations, you turned relaxation into a track meet. It's not just the big stuff. Even daily life gets eaten alive by the chase. People eat lunch at their desks, check emails during dinner, and sleep with their phones like a digital teddy bear. Every spare moment gets monetized. You can't even take a walk without someone trying to sell you a podcast about how to maximize your stroll for productivity. It's like nobody remembers how to simply exist without a financial reason. And here's the punchline: the richest moments in life don't cost a dime. Laughing with a friend until your stomach hurts, watching the sky turn purple at dusk, hearing an old song that takes you back to a day when you didn't know what a credit score was, these are free. They don't show up on a spreadsheet, they don't earn interest, but they're the only things you'll remember when the numbers fade. Nobody on their last day says, "I wish I had spent more time staring at quarterly reports." They talk about love, memories, small moments that had nothing to do with money, but the system doesn't want you to figure that out. If people started valuing time over cash, the whole carnival would empty overnight. So they sell you new distractions every year, new cars, new gadgets, new must-have, items that promise to save you time while secretly stealing more of it. They even invented limited editions, just to make you feel like time itself is running out on a purchase. It's genius marketing. Convince people they're missing something while they're already missing everything. Even retirement, the supposed reward at the end of the chase, is a moving target. People work decades for the promise of finally relaxing, but by the time they get there, they're too tired to enjoy it or too nervous about running out of money to actually rest. Some keep working just to feel safe, as if the universe is going to send a late bill. That's not freedom, that's a lifelong audition for a part you never wanted in the first place, and yet people keep applauding the grind. They celebrate overwork like it's a medal of honor. I pulled 3 all-nighters this week. Great, you voluntarily aged yourself and missed 3 sunsets. The culture treats exhaustion like a trophy and quiet moments like laziness. Sit still for an afternoon and someone will ask if you're feeling okay, like happiness without a receipt is suspicious. You can see the absurdity in little kids. They know how to play. They know how to waste time beautifully. Give a kid a stick and a patch of dirt, and they'll invent a universe. No profit, no agenda, just pure living. Then we send them to school, teach them schedules, grades, and eventually salaries. Slowly, we train the joy right out of them until they're just another adult with a calendar full of meetings and a soul full of maybe next weekend. The irony is that when people do stop chasing for a moment, they often discover they don't need much. A walk, a laugh, a quiet night, a decent sandwich, these are the things that make life feel full. But you can't sell a sandwich for 30 years of debt, so nobody builds a commercial around it. Instead, they convince you that happiness comes in a limited time offer with monthly payments and a warranty you'll never use. The whole setup is one long comedy sketch where the punchline keeps repeating. You trade irreplaceable time for replaceable things, then wonder why you feel empty. The truth is, the more you chase, the more life slips through your fingers. You can stack a mountain of bills so high it blocks the sun, but you can't buy back a single second of the day you just spent earning them. So maybe the smartest move isn't another hustle or another promotion. Maybe it's noticing that the clock on the wall is ticking and the most valuable thing in the room has never been for sale.